Cindy from Homestead Corner, and today I have a list of foods that everyone should start with when they very first start prepping. So when you very first start, if you're not sure where to start, what do you start with? I was asked for a list of foods that were, where do I start and what would be the most important things. So these are some of the things that I find to be really, really important. So if I was just starting off, the number one thing that I'd want to get into my stockpile is water. Whether it's getting 50-gallon drums, getting big 5-gallon jugs, 1-gallon jugs, individual water bottles, however it's going to be manageable for you to store it is going to be the most important thing. So water is definitely my number one thing to get in there. You need water. Number two on this list, I would say second would be beans. Whether it's dried beans or canned beans, you can go whatever way works for you. Dried beans take a long time to cook. Canned beans, if you have to, you can eat them out of the can if you have no way to heat them up. These would be very extremely crunchy. So I definitely recommend dried beans, but you want to make sure that you have a way to cook them. So canned beans are also another to have on the shelf for when you can't cook, the power's out, whatever happens, you still are able to access beans. And I do a wide variety of beans. We buy bean soups, we buy northern beans, pinto beans, black beans, kidney beans, whatever kind of beans you like, any kind of beans you can get. Beans are high in fiber. They give you some carbohydrates. They've got some protein in them. Beans are a must. And the third thing that I would add to this list is rice. Rice is wonderful. It's got plenty of carbs in it for you. It's got some fiber in it, and it is a wonderful belly filler, and you can mix it with just about anything to make a meal. And it will stretch your vegetables and meat and beans. It just stretches everything out, and it's really dirt cheap rices. Our local Walmart, you can get a 20-pound bag of rice for like $8. So that's a great place to start with rice. Or, you know, you can get the smaller 2 pounds, or this is a 5-pound bag. I think this was $2.50 for 5 pounds, or $2.90 or something like that. It was under $3. So, and then I would add some canned meats to that. Whether you buy cans of meat at the grocery store, tuna, chicken, turkey, you can get beef, salmon, sardines, some sort of meat, so you have a good protein source. So we can our own meats, a lot of them. So I have lots of jars of chicken that I keep in my pantry, in my food storage, because it lasts a long time. It's really inexpensive. I buy it when it's 89 cents a pound or 99 cents a pound. When it goes down dirt cheap, I buy as much as I can get, and I can it off, and then I've got it, and then I don't have to worry about it for a while. But when you first start, take it in little steps. Definitely don't overwhelm yourself. It can get very overwhelming. Oh my God, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. Start with 2 weeks worth. Start your pantry with 2 weeks worth of extra food. That's a nice small goal to work on in the beginning. Once you have everything for 2 weeks, expand it to a month or 2 months. Just work on each thing to expand it and get a little bit here and a little bit there. You don't have to go out and buy 100 pounds of anything at once, A lot of times I'll buy 2 of one thing at a time, and I'll buy 2 today. Maybe next time, if I'm not as stocked as I'd like to be, I'll get 2 more, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll get something else that I think is more important at that moment. So, all right, after meats, then, that's meat also. Then I would move on to vegetables. Canned vegetables, whether you home can them or buy them in all canned at the grocery store. You can get vegetables pretty cheap. You can buy little 4-packs. Walmart brand is usually around 50-60 cents. If you're home canning, if you have a garden and you're home canning, that's wonderful. It's even cheaper that way. But vegetables would be next. And get, you know, a variety of corns and peas and carrots and green beans, whatever it is you like, asparagus, all the stuff that you like to eat, get a stock of that going. And then I would add fruits. So you want to make sure you've got enough to give yourself a well-balanced diet in your stockpile. If you get snowed in for 2 weeks, you don't have to worry. You've got 2 weeks worth of food. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be, it can be all different kinds of scenarios. It could be, you know, you're trapped in your house for COVID or another pandemic, or, you know, what if you lose your job and you have, and I know a lot of people are out of work right now. Do you have that extra in the pantry? Once you get back to work and you can afford to start stocking up, if this ever happens again, you will be ready and you won't have to worry about where am I going to get food? How am I going to feed my kids? Having this is, you know, planning for a job loss or something like that, because it can happen at any given moment to anybody. It's something that's where we started and why we started, because what if our income falls out from underneath us? What are we going to do? How am I going to feed my kids? That's how we got into this. So then after the fruits, I would definitely, you're going to need some oils and fats to cook with. So I love to cook with olive oil, so I keep olive oil on the shelf. Olive oil is not a long-term food. It's only going to last about a year on your shelf, so don't buy more than a year's worth. If you use 3 of these in a year, I wouldn't buy more than that. I would only keep that amount, and always rotate your stock. The next thing that I think is real important is pasta. Pasta is another big belly filler, and it's similar to rice. You can mix all kinds of stuff with this and make a meal. You can use it with red sauce and make spaghetti. You can make chop suey. You can make baked ziti. You can do tons of stuff. Macaroni salads, different kinds of, all kinds of stuff. It's just it's endless what you can do with pasta. And pasta is going to last. If you store it right long term, it's going to last and last. I don't think pasta will ever go bad if you keep it airtight and stored in the right conditions. All right, so then I would go with some tomato products. If you like tomato products, diced tomatoes, whole tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, tomato paste, tomato sauce, whatever you cook with, I would get some of those products, and it helps add to this. But you can take some chicken and a can of diced tomatoes and a couple cups of pasta and some seasoning, and you have got a fabulous meal. You know, throw some Parmesan cheese on it, and like a Parmesan chicken casserole would be simple and easy and dirt cheap. So you've got a nice meal to feed your family. And then after that, I would start with some spices and flavorings and things like that, like some salt, sugar, let's see, what else do I have in it? Pepper, things like that. If you really love Creole seasoning and you use it all the time, get some of that and put it away also. The spices last for a really long time. Your salt and sugar stored properly are going to last indefinitely, so you're not going to have to worry about that. Get as much as you think you need. And then I would add, after that, I would go for some soups, some easy quick opening food, something you can just heat up real quick or eat it out of the jar if you have to. This is just a home canned beef stew, but you can buy everything at the store already canned and made if you're not a canner. And then another thing that I think is really important to add to your stockpile in the beginning is a vinegar. Vinegar is wonderful for all kinds of stuff. You can preserve foods in it, you can clean with it, you can wash your hair with it, you can do millions of things. It's an all-purpose thing. Everybody should have lots of vinegar in their house. Definitely. Lots and lots. And I keep different kinds of vinegar. I find little different ones on sale and I will pick them up. This is like a white wine vinegar. I like this for some of my pickle recipes. So, you know, it doesn't just have to be white. You can go apple cider vinegar also. Just vinegars. For cleaning, I would definitely say white vinegar, and I think everyone should have white vinegar in their stockpile. But the other vinegars really help for flavor. And then also honey. Honey is great for a sweetener. It's great for allergies. It's good for all kinds of stuff. We raise bees, so we always have tons of honey in the house. But honey is one of those things, it's never going to go bad. And if you need a little sweetener for something, honey is perfect. And then nuts is another thing. There's a lot of nutrition in nuts. If you like nuts, I think nuts are great. And these have 1.5 years or 2 years on the shelf life. This one's been sitting around for a little while. This one's got about 1.5 years left on it. So, and this has been here for a little bit. So nuts, if you know, peanuts, almonds, whatever you like for nuts. I think they're great to add in just to help. You want to keep your nutrition up. You want a well-balanced diet. And then another filler would be like instant potatoes. These are great to add to your meals. Fill stuff up. You can make potato pancakes. You can do all kinds of stuff with them and really dress these up. So, and last but definitely not least would be dried milk. For cooking, for, you know, cereal, whatever you have to do. You can make cheese with this. I've made cheese with it before. There's so much you can do with dried milk. And again, stored properly, this is not going to go bad. So that is it for my very first foods that I think that each prepper should add to their stockpile. I would start with water and go right down through the list until you have a good variety. And then once you have a good variety, you know, build on that. Do I want to just prepare for 2 weeks or should I prepare for 4 weeks? What kind of scenarios do you think you should prepare for? You know, is your area prone to hurricanes or tornadoes or things like that? Do you live on the beach where it could, you know, you could have massive flooding or any area like that, you know, different things. And as you go, your stockpile will grow and it will change a little bit, and that's okay. You may decide to focus on beans and rice. A lot of people do. I focus more on canned goods because I'm a canner, and those are the things that we eat the most of. We eat mostly vegetables and stuff like that. I try not to eat as much rice, although I like it. There's a lot more nutrition in vegetables. So I will stretch a meal out with rice to keep my budget down, but there's so many ways you can go with this. I would say the water, the beans, the rice, the meat, and down that way, but everybody's different. So it's what works for you. Where are you getting your most nutrition from? You want to focus in those areas, and you know, and stuff to stretch it with, and flavoring. I mean, if you got to eat rice and beans every day, you are definitely going to want to mix it up a little bit. So if you've got a couple different kind of spices stashed away, it's going to help. I'm telling you. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!